Thank you, Rita. Good evening and welcome to South Today. Coming up on tonight's programme. A funding warning from a children's hospice as it struggles with a £1 million deficit and says services may have to be cut.
The cost of living situation has increased our costs considerably over the last few years, and with our government funding still incredibly low at only 8% of our income, that's not good enough.
Also in tonight's programme. The pong from the village pond. The residents angry that sewage pumping has made it a no-go area. The ultimate gift, a new home for a family of Ukrainian refugees from the woman who hosted them 2 years ago.
I do like that me and my sister have separate bedrooms because now I can keep my room neat and tidy.
Happy birthday to you. And a happy 100th birthday to the hero who saved an historic building from burning down. Hello, I'm Jo Kent. A children's hospice charity says it may have to cut back on some of the services it offers unless it gets more funding from the government. Julia's House provides practical and emotional support for families caring for a child with a life-limiting or life-threatening condition in their own homes, in the community or at its hospices in Dorset and Wiltshire. It says the annual cost of providing this care in Dorset is more than £3 million a year. Currently, 92% of that cost is met through fundraising activities, and just 8% of its income comes from NHS England. The hospice says rising costs and increased demand for its services mean it's currently £1 million in deficit, and it can't rely on fundraising alone to balance the books. David Allard reports.
She was strong, confident, sassy. Annabelle wanted a white Christmas, and we gave her one. We went to France.
Cherished memories of their final Christmas together. A few weeks after this picture was taken, Lisa's daughter Annabelle passed away following a seizure. She'd lived with juvenile Batten's disease for 8 years.
It's a neurological degenerative condition. They're born healthy, so you have no idea that they've got it. They then start to lose sight, and then other things follow on, such as seizures, cognitive delay, dementia symptoms, mobility, and unfortunately it does leave them bedridden and end of life.
It's a condition shared by Annabelle's brother, drumming fan Robbie. It means life is a constant challenge for this family. Since 2018, they've been supported by the team at Julia's House Children's Hospice.
They have just been absolutely amazing for us. The sibling care is there for Georgie, the community sits are there for the children, there's also the respite for the parents. And the amount of times I've just picked up the phone and said I need help advice, there's a familiar voice on the end of the phone and they have bent over backwards to help us. If we don't get that support, I can imagine our family will be a right mess.
We're looking at a £1 million deficit this year. Something has got to change quickly on this.
Martin Edwards has been chief executive of Julia's House for 19 years. When we arrived to interview him, he's trying to set up an urgent meeting with the Minister for Social Care, Helen Whately, over future funding.
The cost of living situation has increased our costs considerably over the last few years. It also means that everyone has got less money in their pockets to donate to charities. And with our government funding still incredibly low, at only 8% of our income, that leaves us hugely reliant on people remembering us in their wills, or buying second-hand clothes in our shops, or jumping out of aeroplanes. That's not good enough. We wouldn't treat maternity care that way in this country, so why is it good enough when children are at the end of their lives?
And another pressure, the £327,000 annual grant that did come directly to Julia's House from NHS England now goes to the local NHS to distribute.
We must hang on to that money. We're in urgent contact with our local health authorities to make sure the money doesn't get swallowed up by the system.
A spokesperson for NHS Dorset told the BBC, "We recognise that Julia's House has a key role to play in our ongoing strategy for local care, and we are working with them to ensure funding will continue." While talks go on, the hospice's own fundraising activities remain crucial, and it's about thinking big.
Donate $10 or more for a chance to win the RDJ experience.
In 2015, Julia's House raised more than £1 million in a raffle to join actor Robert Downey Jr. on the red carpet for a Hollywood film premiere. The latest idea is the Great Tail Trail.
We will be having a series of giant mermaid tail sculptures all over the Christchurch, Bournemouth and Poole area. And of course we've called it mermaids because the end-of-life care room where we look after children is called the Mermaid Room here at Julia's House. We call the children who pass away in our care our little mermaids.
I've just finished making a brand new batch of the world's pinkest paint and I can't wait to get it on the mermaid's tail.
Julia's House now wants artists to contribute their talents and businesses to offer sponsorship for the sculptures, which will go on display next spring before being auctioned off to raise money. In the meantime, this charity will continue lobbying for more government funding to secure services which have been so important to families like Lisa's.
What has Julia's House meant to your family?
They have been the shining star. At the end of everything, they're there. And as a family, we are only strong together because of the support we got.
Lisa Hover speaking to David Allard. Well, the Department of Health and Social Care told us it requires all local NHS integrated care boards to commission end-of-life care services to meet their patients' needs. It's made over £350 million available to hospices since 2020 to secure and increase additional NHS capacity and enable hospital discharge, ensuring hospices can continue to deliver care to those who need it. Well, let's stay with this because a little earlier I spoke to Andy Fletcher, the Chief Executive of Together for Short Lives, a charity for children with life-threatening and life-limiting conditions. I asked him how typical Julia's House funding from government was.
Well, that is particularly low in terms of the money that's coming from the local commissioners to organisations like Julia's House, but it is a very patchy mixed picture across the country. We did some freedom of information requests of integrated care boards, the people who commission these services and services in the healthcare, and we found there's a big disparity with what they spent on children's hospices. It ranged from £511 per child in one area, right the way down to £28 in another. And in Dorset, where Julia's House is, it's around £100 per child, so below the average, but just shows the big disparity across the country.
When you think about end-of-life care, many will automatically think of that being in a hospice. What is the alternative on the NHS?
Well, children's palliative care is a mix of services between hospital, children's hospices and in the community. We know from our own evidence that particularly when a child approaches the end of life and their family wants a child to be at home, that service is not available in 4/5 of areas in England. And that's largely because it's not planned effectively and it's not paid for and commissioned effectively. It's not that the services on the ground necessarily want it this way, it's just the way the system is organised. So there's a real postcode lottery between some areas which are able to offer 24/7 support to help a child be at home at the end of life, which, if that's what their family wants, makes a big difference to them. Right the way to other areas where those services are not available and the child has to be in hospital if their needs are very complex. So there's a real mixed picture across the country, and that's why we need greater funding from government and greater consistency across the country.
Andy Fletcher, thank you for your time this evening.
Thank you.
To other news now, and residents in a West Sussex village say their lives are being ruined by sewage being pumped into the village pond and local chalk stream. Southern Water says the operation at East Dean is necessary because groundwater is seeping into underground pipes following heavy rain, and it's trying to minimise the impact on the pond. Sean Killick reports.
A pond on the green in a village on the South Downs could bring to mind various images, but probably not this one. This winter, Southern Water has been pumping screened sewage into the pond at East Dean and the chalk stream feeding into and out of it the River Lavant. Heavy rain has resulted in groundwater seeping into the pipes in the area. Without this operation, homes could be flooded with sewage.
It's better than the sewage going all over our roads, but the biggest concern is that it's obviously going into the river and ending up in Chichester Harbour, which is further down the way. So we'd obviously love to see the back of it because it's an eyesore. Really, obviously the pipework needs to be fixed.
It is an annual thing, but it's been far worse this year. It's utterly disgusting. We've had enough.
We've got 4 or 5 houses around the green that have been unable to really flush their toilets because the water will not flow away into the sewer. And what you see today is pretty much a total disgrace, with the sewage sort of being pumped into the pond and effectively making it a no-go zone.
A mile or so downstream, there's further pumping going on.
The river is an ancient chalk stream that in nature only comes up in the winter. Up come the springs. They fill the river with beautifully clean spring water, and children should be able to play in this as they would once have done. And this water, in Singleton, it flows through people's back gardens. They actually have to keep their children in and their pets because of the pollution in the water, and it's just disgraceful.
Southern Water told us it's been using tankers to avoid overpumping excess water into the environment, but more recent rainfall means as an absolute last resort it's had to use its emergency measures once more. But it says it's relocated its pumps from the pond itself to the adjacent culvert where the river flow joins, improving dilution. And it's working on long-term solutions which elsewhere have included relining pipes and sewers with a new gel process to seal them. But residents along the Lavant want action here soon. Sean Killick, BBC South Today, East Dean.
You're watching South Today. Thanks for your company this evening. Plenty more to come, including... Happy birthday to you. A happy 100th birthday to a hero who saved an historic building from burning down. Now, 2 years ago, people in the UK were asked to consider being a host family for displaced Ukrainians fleeing the war. Many formed close bonds with their hosts and have kept in touch, even if they've moved into other accommodation. Our reporter Emily Hudson has been back to meet a family she was introduced to when they arrived, to see where they've ended up and how important their host has been to them in helping them to feel settled.
I've been invited for a celebration afternoon tea.
Hi, nice to see you.
Oksana and her 2 daughters fled to the UK from Ukraine not long after Putin invaded. For the first year and a half, they lived with Janie, a mile or so away. They're still living in a house that's officially Janie's, but this one she bought especially for them.
It wasn't so much that we were too crowded and fighting or anything like that, absolutely not. But it seemed sensible that they needed a home of their own. I guess it seemed obvious, because there wasn't anywhere else to rent. And I thought, well, if you can do it, you should do it. So I could, so I did.
Janie took out a mortgage to become their landlady.
I'm not a wildly wealthy woman, far from it. I have an NHS pension, but you know, if you don't need things, why not kind of do something useful? It seems obvious.
Today we're celebrating 2 years since they were introduced. Oksana feels very lucky.
Oh, it's wonderful. So I had a feeling that I was running, and finally I have stopped.
Yara and Lena are studying GCSEs and A-levels, so Oksana is so grateful they can stay for now.
So it's complicated because actually I've got my own house. So, and I feel that my heart belongs to my Ukrainian house, but I'm happy in every house where my children are happy.
The girls have settled, joining local sports clubs and making friends, but the best thing is having their own space.
It's wonderful. I really like this. I have finally my own bedroom and I can decorate it myself how I want. It feels more, obviously, free, I would say. Yeah, because we have our own fridge. We can just don't think what is Janie's, what is our. We can eat whatever we want. Well, I do like
that me and my sister have separate bedrooms, because now I can keep my room neat and tidy, and I don't have to deal with her stuff. Yeah, so, and I really like living close to Jenny still.
And that connection to their host is as strong as ever.
We became just so close, and I call her granny all the time, so yeah.
She's definitely our member of our family. She really can make my days better.
I'm so proud of them. I'm really, really proud of them, because they've done so well. You know, the family has grown, and that's been really nice.
Emily Hudson, BBC South Today in Eastleigh.
So great seeing them getting on so well 2 years on. Well, let's get on to the sport now, and Fern is with us this evening. And Fern, kicking off with a bit of Premier League action.
Or lack thereof, yeah, there was yesterday. It was a quiet night for Brighton as they were held to a goalless draw by Brentford on the road. The Seagulls were denied a penalty after captain Lewis Dunk was brought down in the box. The point sees Roberto De Zerbi's side stay 9th in the table. Well, it was a big day for Southampton FC women's goalkeeper Kayla Rendell, who's become the first player in the club's history to earn a senior England call-up. The 22-year-old was initially selected as part of the under-23 squad, but is now going to link up with Serena Wiegman and the Lionesses for their Euro 2025 qualifiers. That's against Sweden and the Republic of Ireland. In cricket, Hampshire captain James Vince says his players are desperate to end the club's 51-year wait to lift the county championship trophy. Hampshire haven't won the Division 1 title since 1973. They've come close in recent seasons, but now the 33-year-old wants his silverware back down south.
It's not easy to rock up week after week and keep producing the performances that keep you in the hunt, but we know it's a tough thing to win. But you know, everyone here is desperate to win it, so yeah, hopefully the work we've done in the winter can just give us that little bit of edge when we need it. But ultimately, if we can replicate a lot of the stuff we've done in the last couple of years, we'll give ourselves a chance.
Fingers crossed for them. And Berkshire swimmer Tom Dean's through to the final of the men's 100-metre freestyle at the GB Championships in London tonight. The double Olympic champion topped his heat with a time of almost 48.5 seconds, while Paul's Alice Tai boosted her hopes of securing a spot at the Paris Paralympics. That's this summer after finishing more than 9 seconds in her SA qualification time.
A lot of people, especially with my amputation and then missing Tokyo for surgery on both my arms, would think that was maybe career ending, but one, I'm stubborn, but also I think being around such phenomenal Paralympic athletes changes your perception about what is possible and what isn't.
Oh my goodness, it's so exciting now. We're getting to that point where everything's happening, getting ready for the Olympics and the Paralympics. So just got to hope for our local athletes that they get there now.
I know, it's nail-biting stuff, isn't it? Each competition could see them, make or break those Olympic dreams. Yeah. Very exciting. Thanks very much, Fern. Now, some of the few surviving D-Day veterans gathered in Dorset today to pay their respects to 6 men without whom the Normandy landings may not have been as successful as they were.
The men were tank crew testing a top-secret surprise weapon in a huge training exercise off Studland, which was a dress rehearsal for the largest amphibious assault in history.
Tom Hepworth reports.
They braved the rain to pay their respects to 6 soldiers who lost their lives in the waters of Studland Bay. Robert Gould, Victor Hartley, Albert Kirby, Arthur Park, Ernest Petty and Victor Townsend of the Royal Dragoon Guards drowned in their tanks. Tanks like this Valentine, fitted with a canvas screen waterproofed at the base and a propeller on the back. It meant they could float ashore, a harder target for the Germans to hit. But in rougher seas they didn't perform as well. 32 were launched, 7 sank, including the one Simon Ford's father, General Sir Robert Ford, was in when it was hit by a big wave.
His feet were trapped by a strut, so they hit the bottom and there was an air bubble underneath the screen. So he could actually breathe at that stage, so he took an enormous breath, unzipped his boots, slipped out of it, he got to the surface, and of course sadly he was the only one to survive out of the whole crew, and the other 4 drowned.
If he'd had regulation boots with laces,
he wouldn't be here now.
Over the days of Exercise Smash, some very important people watched proceedings from Fort Henry. People like the Supreme Allied Commander, General Eisenhower, Monty, the Prime Minister Winston Churchill and even King George VI. But what they would have seen would have been very different to what we see today. A mass of men and boats and tanks. The exercise had a huge impact on people living locally.
They just could not go anywhere without being challenged. It was very, very tight security. About 30 families were removed from the training area.
The cost of having a coastline like Normandy, but not as high a price paid as that of the men killed in the exercise.
These guys did their role, did their job just as much as those who actually were killed on the battlefield. They are helping the Western Allied forces get to the point, whether it's training, whether it's learning that way, getting to that point to be able to liberate the whole of Europe. There's a risk to it, and those 6 guys lose their lives, but I would argue not in vain.
The tanks at the bottom of Studland Bay, if not an official war grave, a lasting reminder of lessons learned. Tom Hepworth, BBC South Today.
Yeah, poignant day in Studland today. Right, let's move on to the weather now, and Alexis is with us, and it's been a bit of a mixed bag, hasn't it? And I'm hearing storms on the way.
Yes, Storm Kathleen mainly affecting western parts of the country, but for us, really strong winds during the weekend. This picture of the sunrise this morning was taken in Weymouth, and also some sunshine at Southsea by the pier. So through the course of today, we have seen a little bit of brightness, but generally we have had a good deal of cloud as well, with some showers which have been quite frequent in some places. Now we're looking at fairly unsettled conditions over the next few days. Tomorrow, showers, rain at first, that will clear fairly quickly, and there will be that brisk south to southwesterly wind during the course of the day. Some outbreaks of rain, which could be heavy at times, will continue to affect us during the course of the night, may lead to localised flooding in a few places. Still the brisk winds, gusting maybe 30 to 45 miles per hour widely, and along the coast maybe up to 45 miles per hour, with temperatures tonight dropping to around 11 to 12 Celsius. So that band of rain that will be with us tomorrow, it's a fragmented band of rain which will clear quickly during the morning on the brisk wind, followed by some showers. Now the showers, as the day progresses, will turn few and far between, so it is an improving picture. Still the brisk wind from the southwest, gusting along the coast up to 45 miles per hour widely, 30 to 45 mile an hour gusts even for inland areas, and highs tomorrow of 17 degrees. Temperatures are well above their seasonal average of 12 or 13 Celsius. So it's going to be quite a windy day tomorrow, windy as we head into the weekend, more so on Saturday with that storm arriving. Through the course of tomorrow, the winds are south or southwest, 4 to 6 on the inshore waters. The sea state is occasionally rough, and the visibility is good, occasionally poor. So through the course of tomorrow night, further spells of rain are possible. We're not out of the woods in terms of the rainfall. Low pressure systems after low pressure systems moving in from the Atlantic. And as we start Saturday, the winds start to strengthen even further. Gusts of between 30 to 45 miles per hour, 40 for the coast. Temperatures tomorrow night down to around 12 to 13 degrees. And the winds will strengthen through Saturday with the arrival of this deep area of low pressure, Storm Kathleen. For us in the south, though, we're expecting quite a lot of dry weather during the day. Gusts of 40 to 50 miles per hour, particularly for coastal stretches where we'll see the strongest wind gusts. Temperatures well above their seasonal average, highs of 19 degrees on Saturday. Still windy on Sunday with a few showers, but the bulk of Saturday should be mainly dry. Jo.
Alexis, thanks very much. Well, whatever the weather, it didn't stop a special party today, because for most people, reaching 100 years old involves a card from the King, a party with cake and lots of candles, of course.
Yeah. Of course, but for Ron Brignow, it also involved a commendation for saving an historic building from burning down more than 80 years ago.
His heroics as a teenager were recognised as family and friends gathered for his centenary celebration in a care home in West Sussex. Laura Ansell joined the party.
Today is Ron Brignall's 100th birthday, and if that wasn't enough to celebrate, his family recently uncovered Ron's fascinating past.
So I was looking for the photographs through the albums, and I came across a wallet, and inside the wallet were little folded up pieces of newspaper. So I was inquisitive. I opened up the papers, and lo and behold, there were 2 stories of Dad's exploits.
This is delivered with a great thank you from Cardiff and the citizens of Cardiff for saving Cardiff City Hall.
Wow. Oh, thank you so much.
When Ron was just 16 years old, he was on his way home when he saw Cardiff City Hall had been struck by a German bomb.
And what did you do?
Climbed up a drain pipe. It needed to be put on the house pipe, so that's what I did.
With one sandbag between his teeth and one underneath his arm, both 5 kilogram sandbags, he climbed a 25-foot drain pipe, part smothered the incendiary device with the sandbags. I guess it was still active to some degree, so he climbed down again, grabbed the hose, a hose pipe essentially, a large hose pipe between his teeth, climbed back up to the top of City Hall with the hose.
And Ron's actions became the stuff of legend.
For many years, when people were touring City Hall, a staff member there would often share a story about a 16-year-old that saved City Hall during the wartime period. We had no idea who this 16-year-old was and whether it was a true story or not until Mr. Brignall's son contacted us, and we heard that this legend is still alive and we can put a name to the story now.
To 100-year-old Ron, an unsung hero until now.
Happy birthday to
Thankfully, these sparklers self-extinguish. Laura Ansell, BBC South Today.
Yeah, it's lovely, isn't it? Great to get to the bottom of that mystery, and for Ron to get recognition at last.
Indeed.
And of course, a big happy birthday to you,
Happy
Ron.
birthday.
That's all from us for now. Edward Salt will be here with you for our late news at 10:30. From us for now. Bye-bye and have a lovely evening.
Good night.